Howdy, y'all, and go. Howdy, welcome in. It's probably only myself and Phil. It's fine if it is. I don't mind. Whoever you are, if you feel like chatting, chat away. Type some stuff in. Go ahead. I dare you. If you don't feel like chatting, that's fine too. Today, of course, I'm having another Romeo y Julieta Churchill. In the tobacco world, all the good long things tend to have church in the name. Church warden, church hill. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. Personally, I'm going to be having a good day. I've been playing devil's advocate all day. And I think I figured out what I'm going to do. I've got this bright red, ugly as sin, toe-looking lollipop. And I got someone at the Briar Report not doing their fact-checking. So I'm going to have to call them out on this one. For any of y'all who read the blob, I am not going to be partaking of that damn infernal lollipop with 9 million Scoville units in the time in between eating a 9 million Scoville unit chocolate bar. Holy crikey. I'm kind of crazy, sure, but I'm not straight up insane. I do not need to start some sort of new challenge, though I might challenge anybody who's out there to a challenge, if they would like to attempt to do it for fun. No gifts, nothing more than bragging rights. But here's the deal. Get yourself the toe of Satan sometime between now and Pipe Week. Now, if you tend to be someone that has respiratory issues, the elderly, someone with heart conditions, someone who is too young to participate in such said event, or somebody who is intolerant to extremely spicy items, I would suggest just not doing it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But if you are man or woman enough and you feel like you want to do this, then during Pipe Week, I'll do a live stream with the toe of Satan. And I will hold out for as long as I can. Now they say it's a 5-minute mark. I figure if I can handle the chocolate bar, I'll be able to handle the toe of Satan. And one of our brave YTPC members decided to up the ante. I'm not going to mention names. But they decided to say it on a live stream. And I'll tell them, look, I don't expect it. If it shows up, then it shows up. But somebody decided to tell me that if I can finish the world's hottest chocolate bar, they'll get me an Assekian pipe. I mean, suddenly I really, really want to do this world's hottest chocolate bar thing. But I'm not going to ask for it. I'm not going to beg for it. Like I said, if it shows up, it shows up, I will appreciate it. I will feel indebted by it for a long time.
Break.
Holly says break. Bing! This break was brought to you by Marlboro.
This break was brought to you by Don't Lie to Me, Bitch.
Uh-oh. Oh, crap. In case y'all are wondering, one of Holly's co-workers decided to lie to her this morning, and I have no idea how many other people have tried to lie to her today. But I'm betting that the total has gone up. Howdy, Todd. Great to see you, sir. So anyways, I'm going to get this cigar lit, and we're going to see about smoking it. I'm going to have a beer, and probably sometime after work, Holly will have a beer. Because she's acting like it's that kind of day. There's 12 left in the pack. I'll be surprised if there's any left in the pack after she's done. As she's shaking her head. Yeah, it might happen. That's a good thing for me, though. Huva Ilta, Boris. Great to see you, sir. Though it is extremely late at night for you, I'm certain. Or maybe it is morning.
It's gotta be in the middle of the night.
Because somewhere in Finland, they have not gone through the daylight savings time BS stuff yet.
Right, but it's almost 4 o'clock here, so it's basically 3:30 here. So add 8 hours. It's got to be right around midnight.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be right around midnight. And Boris, of course, says hello. She gave you the I am the queen of the parade wave. She said wrist, wrist, elbow, elbow, or something like that.
No, I said this.
Actually, what she did was go. Todd, this, of course, is a Romeo y Julieta Churchill. Boris says it is 22:14 there, so
11:14.
At 10:14.
10:14. Yes, you are right. 10:14.
It's because they haven't gone.
Okay,
through.
So he's.
And you got to remember, it gets narrower up there.
6 hours ahead of us then?
6 hours now, 7 hours after they go through daylight savings time. And then they go through daylight.
7 hours now.
Right.
Because it's 3.
And then they go through daylight savings time on the other end before we do. So then it's 8 hours. So it's somewhere between 6 and 8 hours time difference for Boris. And watching a Nightwish concert, that sounds like fun. I remember hearing some of their songs. I don't remember. I don't remember disliking them, so I mean. But I couldn't tell you any specific song that they sang. Of course, my knowledge of music is horrifically horrible. Let's just say it. In the world of music, I am a failure. I very rarely get to correct anybody musically. Though it did happen today. Somebody showed a picture of Metallica that had Cliff Burton and James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich and who was the other guy? It doesn't matter. And they said, oh, that's right. I remember a little bit more about him now. So, anyways, while showing a picture of Metallica, somebody commented that that was the original Metallica. And I was like, hey, wait, small technical issue. Original Metallica featured Dave Mustaine, who's not in that picture, so this would be second version. And the guy came back and said, yeah, you're right. My bad. I didn't really say it to make him feel bad. I mean, he was right. It was Metallica. It just wasn't the first version of Metallica. That's okay. Megadeth isn't the first version of Megadeth. In fact, there were 3 or 4 bands that were Megadeth before Dave Mustaine decided to use it. Including, if I remember correctly, Pink Floyd, I believe, tried to use Megadeth for a while. Sounds kind of strange, but it is what it is. So it's windy. We've got a cat that's tougher than nails, that's doped up on painkillers and deciding to just sleep it off. I understand this theory. I've been there myself. I believe they gave me oxycodone
Yes, that was very good.
When I shattered my knee. I seem to recall they gave me like 10 pills worth, and that I took 3. Because I would take one and I would lay down and I would go to sleep and I wouldn't move, and it hurt so much because I wouldn't move. So my knee was not moving, and it would stiffen up. And it would take me the better part of an hour, hour and a half to even get out of bed. And I was like, I can't do this. I'll take some Tylenol. Just regular Tylenol. No Tylenol with codeine. Nothing spectacular. Just Tylenol. If I remember correctly, Tylenol is just acetaminophen.
It's mostly acetaminophen.
Mostly acetaminophen. Might be some caffeine in some versions. There's codeine in some versions, but that's Tylenol 3. Needless to say, I don't do painkillers. I'm okay with toughing it out. Careful, she's backing up. Okay. That might only be funny to me, but all right. Well, howdy, Martin, and of course we will definitely pray for Derek's safety. Now, I've heard you're thinking about doing a very short, truncated live stream this evening. For the safety of all who are involved, might I make one suggestion if that's what you're choosing to do there, Martin? Take the shot clock, set it to 0, turn it off, and then don't forget to turn it back on next week when the shot clock should go back to working. Because you're trying to make it to the match's tribute smoke. And leaving on time is going to be vitally important. Well, that's a good idea there as well, Martin. In case y'all are wondering, yes, that is Ziegenbach. That is a Texas beer. This is only available in Texas. For those of you who can't get it, sorry about your luck. Well, getting there at 11 ain't going to help you, though, Martin. I mean, let's be honest. The match's tribute smoke starts at 10. Now, of course, if you're saying getting there by 11, but 11 on the East Coast time, which would be 10 o'clock Central, okay, well, then that makes sense. I'd be out the door by 6 o'clock. Hell, I'd be out the door by 5:15 in the morning, personally. But that's because there's no traffic, clean sailing. It's like, done. Four-hour drive. But you're gaining an hour because of the time zone. Yeah, I believe Columbia, Tennessee is right around 12 hours from my house. So I'm not going. It's like 11 hours. Meaning I would have to leave just before Martin goes live. All right, Boris, you take care. And hey, I'm going to be here for 2.5 hours, so if the concert's over and you feel like coming back, I'll be here. If not, Matt will be here. Well, not here, but remember, Matt Glumchum Piper will be on later tonight. Got to throw that in. So yeah, Martin, that going to test out the mobile rig. Going to see what you can do with the flip it this way and that way. Test out which apps actually work. Probably a good idea. Howdy, Everett Young. Great to see you, sir. Ziegenbach. It's going to be room temperature by the time I get done with it. Trying to make it last for 2.5 hours. I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, goodness. So last night, for all of you who like sports, there was a sporting event where a guy beat several women. There's, of course, a technicality there. It was only NCAA swimming, as they have voiced their opinion that women's rights don't matter. Congratulations, NCAA, for changing your acronym to not caring about athletes. Yep. Let's be honest. In the world of swimming, a guy who can be ranked somewhere in the completely lower portion of the top 500 but nowhere near competitive enough to get anywhere close to winning should not be allowed to suddenly change his gender and say, oh, I'm going to go take first place. Hey, Martin, I get away with it. You know why I get away with it? Real simple. Because as old as I am, and as out of shape as I am, I could still probably beat half the women that are out there swimming. I damn sure knew how to swim. Do I think I could beat the absolute elite of all women with no training and out of shape like I am? I don't know, but I'm going to make it a good race. It's not going to be like this guy who was training as a guy for all those years and then decided to train as a woman and beat all the women, but he's beating the women by ridiculous margins. And there's the NCAA just saying, hey, you know what? Well, Martin, actually, yes. I do have an ex-wife. Of course, the people that knew me and knew that she was pregnant at the time, they said, Did she go to the hospital? Where's the doctor bills? Well, there weren't none, and she didn't go to the hospital or to the doctors. And that's when everybody who actually knew me said, that shit didn't happen then. She can accuse all damn day. Of course, those that knew me well enough know that if I'm mad enough to start hitting things, I ain't quitting for a while. But I'm not going to go compete in women's sports. Okay, you know what? It might be fun to go and compete in women's softball. But I'm going to tell you right now, those women in college softball can really freaking throw. Holy crap, I'd be lucky if I could even get a bat in motion before the ball steamed past me. And it's a bigger ball. Doesn't damn well matter. I saw what college pitching was about when I was much younger and in better shape, and thought I could actually hit local college, place called Rice. They used to be really damn good at baseball. You can look it up if you want to. They had a little charity event. I don't remember why, when, or what for. I remember it was some sort of charity event. $20, 20 pitches. Cool. Why not? It's for a good event. It's for a good cause. Let's do it. I'll at least hit the ball. No, I won't. Well, I did hit one. Sort of. Not well. And it went foul. And they were just throwing them straight. At the end of it, I found out they were only throwing them around 60. They weren't really hurling them. Great. Yeah, I suck that bad at baseball. So I'm fairly certain that I would suck that bad at softball. Because I know some of those college girls are getting up there in those 100-mile-an-hour things. It's got to do with the whole wind up and pitch thing. I don't know the specifics of it. And the whole where you swing the bat is going to be definitely different than baseball. Because, well, the ball's coming like right at your kneecaps. Unless they know that you like to swing at the high ones and can't hit them, and then they'll throw high ones at you. But coming from a lower spot, coming up, changes the way everything looks. Just trust me on that one. Oh, and Holly played softball in high school, so, yeah, I mean, there is that. Just, yeah. Howdy, Steve and Miss Kathy. Great to see you, sir. Look, I think I ran everybody off with this talk about men competing in women's sports. Oh, by the way, there was a small protest afterwards by the second, third, and fourth place finishers of the race. They all stood on the number 3 and took their picture together, leaving Will standing up there on the number 1 all by himself. Oh, and I'm, of course, using the scientific notification of whether a person is male or female, which means X chromosomes, Y chromosomes. You can take all the damn blockers and this, that, the other that you damn well want to. 200 years from now, if they dig your bones up, no matter what your name was, no matter where you're buried, if they do a DNA test on your bones, it will say whether you are 2 X's or an X and a Y. 2 X's you're female, X and a Y you're male. Oh, sorry for anybody who doesn't understand that. That's just scientifically proven fact. They've been figuring out if it's a male or female dinosaur. Same process. DNA will not lie, no matter what you want to identify yourself as. Hey, as long as we're able to identify ourselves as anything we damn well want to be, I identify myself as Jeff Bezos. Might as well. I mean, I would love to have that kind of money. Or how about, I identify myself as some kid from Michigan. And then on other days, I identify myself as his Russian partner, who is, they are the big dogs at ABC Incorporated, which owns Google, which owns YouTube. Don't get me wrong, I don't give a damn. It is what it is. I don't hate people. I mean, look, let's be honest. I outweigh Ronda Rousey by, a good little bit. Something tells me if I jumped in the ring with her, I'd get my ass handed to me. But on a regular average every day, a woman wouldn't stand a chance against a guy my size. Don't blame me for pointing these things out. It's just the truth. Hey, all right, let's go with which Megan Fox? Would that be the one that said that Steven Spielberg was some sort of Nazi and got thrown out of making a movie? That Megan Fox? Oh yeah, sure, not a problem, Steve. Great to have you, though. Great to have you while you can be here. If Miss Kathy is going to stick around, that's fine. If not, well, then it's great to have Miss Kathy here as well. So, for all of y'all who want to have the ability to self-identify yourselves as something that biologically is incorrect, if we have to go that direction and we have to make sports fair and legitimate, let's figure out some sports that are actually capable of being fair and still legitimate. I mean, how about synchronized knitting? I'm sure it'll really catch on because men, women, and trans, and I don't know, furries or whatever it is that they want to call themselves nowadays. Oh! There you go, Steve. Well, Steve, just remember, Secretary Day and Wednesday always falls on the same day. So on that particular day, then, of course, it's Hump a Secretary Day. Not saying you have to, but I know if it was me, just saying. Just saying. Howdy, Jose Golf Piper. Great to see you, sir. By the way, Jose, this is a Romeo y Julieta 1875 Churchill natural wrap. Mostly because it's inexpensive and I know it'll last for the whole 2.5 hours. Or pretty close to. It doesn't really taste all that inexpensive. I mean, it's not cheap. Don't get me wrong. It costs a bit more than most pack of cigarettes. But, let's see. A cigarette lasts about 7 minutes. You get 20 of them. Some cigarettes only last about 5 minutes. So let's go with that. 5 minutes, 20 of them. It's what? Not quite 2.5 hours, is it? Woo, Steve. Is that so you can get traction? Or are those bucking spurs? I mean, if it's the bucking spurs, whoo, damn. All I'm going to tell you, if he's wearing bucking spurs in bed, you might want to just not even go into the room. Might be a little painful. Ziggenbach. I thought about having one yesterday. I just don't like putting food color in beer. I mean, what's the purpose? Green beer. Blech. By the way, hopefully everybody who went out last night here in the YTPC, or, well, I already would have known if they were friends other than YTPC, because they'd have called me up saying, hey, can you come bail me out? Anyways, I'm hoping that everybody made it home safe from amateur drinking night. I believe this is the 4th amateur drinking night of the year. Of course, there's New Year's, Super Bowl, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Oh, and some people call Mardi Gras a drinking day, which then that adds a whole bunch of drinking days. Well, see, Steve, I do kind of know a little bit about being a cowboy. I mean, I grew up down near the King Ranch. Then moved up here. We got the world's largest rodeo. Not the World Championships, which is strange. How come the World Championships are in Vegas? But the largest rodeo event is right here in Houston. Seems like somebody didn't think that out. Of course, Steve made a good point the other day. If you're trying to break a horse, take them down to the pond and let them swim. Ride them around while they're chest deep in water or deeper. When they buck you off, it's not going to hurt. Not even half as bad. And if they get a little squirrely and decide that they're going to do one of those crazy flops that some horses do, and you think that a horse won't jump up and flop square down on its side, pinning your leg, then you haven't watched some horses get a little squirrely. Seen it. It ain't exactly pretty. And if you turn a leg the wrong direction at the wrong time, you can seriously injure the horse too. Well, that doesn't happen too well in the water because they don't much care for getting their head under the water that way. I mean, most horses don't. They'll do it if necessary, but I mean, no big deal. Steve, that is true. Vegas is where the money is. You'd still think that they could bet from Vegas on events in Houston. But that's all right. We will still take the World Championship cook-off. That'd be barbecue event. That's the one you want to win. Doesn't matter where else you've won. If you haven't won in Houston, then your barbecue is suspect. Jose, I did hear that the Oakland A's want to move to Vegas. Do you know why? And now, see, I've been talking about this ever since it was announced that the Raiders were moving to Vegas. Said, okay, here we go. The Raiders moved to Vegas. Shortly after the Raiders moved to Vegas, you'll see one of the other two teams, either the basketball team or the baseball team, will move out. Well, guess who moved out next? Oh, that's right. Basketball moved over to San Francisco. Huh. Like as if I predicted it. And then I said, the stadium complex there. Both stadiums are pretty much right on top of each other. They'll just wait until whoever's left moves out last, the city of Oakland is going to go screaming and crying because all their teams are gone now. And suddenly they'll stop dragging their feet about building a new stadium. They're going to build a new stadium. They're going to destroy both those stadiums. Let's be honest. The stadium in Oakland for playing basketball, it was like a big-ass barn. It was horrible. Time to do some upgrades. Long since time to do some upgrades. Let's be honest about the stadium where the A's and the Raiders played. It was completed in 1960. They made a few minor touch-up upgrades, but other than that, the place is falling apart. So they're going to tear it down. They'll rebuild it. And about the same time that they finish rebuilding, the A's and the Raiders will be done with their contract for rental of those places where they're going to be playing. Oh, and guess what? That'll be about the same time that the basketball team will be done with their contract for rental for that other place. All right, Steve and Miss Kathy, y'all take care. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Be well. And, well, as you know, Glum Chum's going to be on later tonight. And then Cane Rod. And supposedly Martin's going to be doing a real quick live by himself. Probably testing out his new equipment because he really wants to give it a good test before he goes and tries to film the Mule Town. But yeah, so they will start building their sports complex there in Oakland, and they'll do it so that each team can be ready to move back in right after the complex is ready to go for that portion, whether it be baseball, football, or basketball. I mean, it's all about the money. The reason the city of Oakland didn't want to rebuild a new stadium for the Raiders is because they still had basketball and baseball. Now all they've got left is baseball. They don't want to lose their teams. They're going to have to rebuild. Now, there's the other issue. Where? They have to tear stuff down to build stuff. That's the way it is out there in Oakland. The only place left to rebuild or to tear stuff down to build is going to be where that stuff is right now anyways. So yeah, they'll get back to Oakland eventually. Oh, and as far as going to Las Vegas, quite honestly, Vegas does not care if the Raiders ever play a single game in Vegas. They don't. They don't give a crap. The largest seating arrangement for a sporting event in Las Vegas before the stadium was built was just under 40,000 people. Now they've got a 66,000 seat stadium for football, and they can put floor seats out there and easily get over 100,000 people. Well, let's think of it like this. What's the biggest musical group you know? What's the biggest draw? Who's got the biggest crowd? Do you think they want to play in a 40,000 seat small arena? Or do they want to play in a possibly 100,000 seat mega arena? I know what kind of money I want to make. Nashville, hello. How are you doing, Willie? By the way, Willie, did you ever get to any of those cigars yet? Not trying to push or pry, just asking. I know you got some good ones, though. And of course, I'm eventually wondering how that L-shaped one. How in the heck was that L-shaped one going to do? Yeah, Jose. Well, it's 10 games if they play all their preseason and all their home games. Okay, the pink band. That was the Rose of Sharon. You said you wanted something light and flavorful, and I know that cigar nailed that requirement. But yeah, so all right, so Jose, look at it like this. All the hotels up and down the strip have a small portion of the stadium. All of them want to sign either by residency or by a limited engagement contract the biggest stars that they can get. Whoever signs the biggest stars is going to get to use the stadium, except for on days when the Raiders are playing. So quite honestly, the Raiders, if they never play in Vegas ever, Vegas would love it. All right, maybe not the people of Vegas, but the hotels, which, let's be honest, without those big mega hotels, Vegas would dry up and blow away. Now, Willie, you're correct. It's not 100,000 seats for football. But let's say you had a UFC event. Could happen, right? In Vegas. I'm just throwing it out there. You take the 66,000 something seat arena And then you put all the floor seats in there also. You can get pretty close to 100,000 seats in that football stadium for a single sporting event. But you're only going to have the 66 something thousand seats if the Raiders are playing. I believe that they can put legally 80,000 seats in there for a concert. If they do like the backdrop concert, but if they do a rotating stage, kind of like they do at the Texas Livestock Show and Rodeo, they can get pretty close to 100,000 seats in there for that. Howdy, Chip. Great to see you, sir. So, no, it's not 100,000 seats. It's only 66, 67, 69. I forget how many thousand seats. It's 60-something plus thousand seats for football. But there's other events than that that can go in there, and they can definitely enlarge that ability. Howdy, Mark. Great to see you, sir. Oh, and no, your channel is not boring. I watched that whole video. I didn't comment on it because I knew you'd be around for one of my tailgates sooner or later, and I wanted to say that physically straight up. You can see it in my face when I say it. It's not boring. If people are not showing up, it's either time or just not enough subscribers yet, or I'm just not sure what to tell you, but just keep being yourself. Put the videos out as you feel right. You're doing fine, brother. I'm watching. Not sure about the rest of these folks, but I'm watching. But yes, Willie, you're right. There's not 100,000 seat NFL stadium. None of them. You want 100,000 plus seats, you got to go to college stadiums. How does college sell that many more seats? The two biggest stadiums as far as seating in the United States, I believe, is the Big House in Michigan. And surprisingly, because when they rebuilt it, they went for that top seat arrangement, Texas A&M. There's just not enough places to sleep 100,000 something people in Texas A&M. Oh, right. Well, Willie, I mean, there is the truth of that the stadiums make more money on the other events than on the 10 to 16 total days that they might be used for football. But what I'm saying is, if the Raiders moved back to Oakland, Vegas is not going to tear that stadium down. Now, to get the NFL money, because, hey, they still want the NFL money, they would say, hey, look, now renting, if your team really, really absolutely needs to get a new stadium and the city you're in doesn't want to do it, you know, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Detroit, start naming names, because I guarantee you there's teams out there that have been looking at their older than dirt stadiums, and they're going like, oh, it might be pretty good to like think about rebuilding. And that stadium would be right back out on the market, and somebody would definitely move right back in just as soon as they could be done with their rental agreement for the stadium that they're at. Well, right, but there's also the fact that they're on a 17-game season now. And then, of course, there's the possibility of playoffs. Playoffs? Playoffs? Oh, God. Mark, I am not the king. Closest I come to being the king is when I said, I'm King Dingaling on this thing. And Martin has since used it as my as my screen my walk-in music, for lack of better terminology. Right, so, you know, a 10 home game season it's 9 or 10 on a regular basis, because if they play one preseason game at home, then they play one extra home game on the other end. That's the way it's currently set up. So it's 8 or 9 plus 2. So it's going to be 10 games. And then if you, like I said, if you get playoffs, it might be another, 3? And then supposedly, if you can do it all and get the Super Bowl in your home stadium too, well, that's just a trifecta, right? Willie, you're definitely correct. Preseason games tend to draw very, very light crowds at best. Except for here in Houston. Even when the team sucks, they pack that stadium. Seriously, it's going to be a full preseason game. Full capacity preseason game. There might be 1,000 total seats that won't be full here in Houston. Completely bonkers. Blows the mind. Oh, by the way, University of Las Vegas is using the stadium on Saturdays. If there is not going to be an immediate, quick turnaround to turn it into a Raiders stadium for Sunday. And then when they do the professional bull riding world championships, they now, of course, do that in that stadium there with the Raiders. Of course, it happens at 2 different times. There's never going to be a scheduling conflict for that. But it sure is nice to be able to go inside to do that instead of outside in the heat or the cold, as has sometimes happened. It's timing. And then, you know, Monster Jam. Oh, and Las Vegas is home to some 200 plus conventions every year. So if the A's moved to Las Vegas, that would just be par for the course. Quite honestly, I would expect to see their little monorail thing make a full loop that goes past both the stadiums if they have baseball and football. Oh, okay. I didn't know that the UNLV was using an artificial turf field that could literally just roll in there. I thought I had read somewhere that as long as it's not a immediate turnaround. Dickies Arena. Hey, I like Dickies though. Heck, most of the clothes I wear somewhere says Dickies. Pretty much every pair of jeans I've got. Now, I knew that they had a full roll-on, roll-out grass field for Arizona. It is the only college stadium that does not have a college football team. So, of course, the Arizona Cardinals more than welcome to use it. Howdy, Cedric. Great to see you, sir. Oh, yeah, Willie, I am certain of that. It just makes sense. I mean, you could let a whole bunch of college kids tear up their own field all day long, hit a button and zip, it goes away. Hit another button and zip, the professional field shows up. Now, one thing I am hoping is that they will go with a real actual turf field for the NFL, because I have been on that stadium floor for what the Texans play on, and it's these turf mats that they roll out, and it fits together kind of like a weird jigsaw puzzle. And there are some dead spots. And just walk. Now look, I've got a bad knee. Walk across that jigsaw field, and I hit a dead spot. My knee knows it immediately. It's like, oh, that felt bad. And 3 or 4 more steps, and I'll hit another one. Ooh, that felt bad too. Oh, see, I didn't know that. I thought they had to roll the grass outside, just like they did with the Arizona one. Did not realize that the UV rays might be an issue there. Hey, you know what? Wear your sunscreen. It's Vegas. You're not going to have many clouds. Just saying. Not that it'll never rain in Vegas, but it doesn't do it often. Oh, God. Cedric, we're going there with the Raiders thing. Come on now. Don't worry, you've had plenty of Raiders players on the Packers. Sean Jones, Charles Woodson. I'm sure there's others, but I know those two right off the top of my head. And of course, hey, you know, Denver's still looking for having the fourth best quarterback in the AFC West. What? They got danger Russ Wilson. Yeah, well, how many years has it been since he's been to the Super Bowl? You think that's not pretty close to the end of a career already? Yeah. Don't worry, Derek Carr's starting to age a little bit. We've seen it. And he came into the league a few years after Russ. So I'm good with Denver taking that route. What has me worried now is that kid that plays for the team formerly known as San Diego. Mostly because Patrick Mahomes got married. You know what marriage does to a football career? You don't believe me? J.J. Watt got married. Look at where his career is starting to go. Not a problem, Willie. You take care. And, you know, we could always talk Raiders. This all kind of started because Jose mentioned that the A's are looking at Vegas to possibly move. If I had a professional team as my team, as I was the owner, anytime the city I was in didn't want to actually do what I wanted them to do, I'd start talking to Vegas right away. Howdy, Odie. Great to see you, sir. Because at any point in time, like, let's see. If I was the team in Cincinnati and I saw the Raiders move out of Las Vegas, and I was still trying to get a new stadium in Cincinnati that would be closer to state of the art, and the city of Cincinnati still didn't want to play that game, then I would start talking to Las Vegas about, hey, can we move in? Sign a 5-year lease agreement. By that point in time, Cincinnati should have our new stadium rebuilt. We can move right on back. Our fans will still love us. We'll tell them, look, we just did it so we could up the capacity of the stadium. They might only up it by a couple of hundred seats, but that's still upping the capacity. That makes tickets easier to get, right? No, it won't. Because they'll come back with permanent seat licensing and more corporate box seats, and the price tags will be higher. They'll be just as hard, if not harder, to get. And the Bearcats would love it. Oh, yeah. Think about it. Oh, look. They're moving. We could play in the bigger stadium. Oh, no. We're tearing that down. Okay, well, we'll stay here. When you get that stadium done, we can play on Saturday and your NFL team can play on Sunday. As Willie just said, more and more places that have a professional team and a good college team are going to start doing that. Not a problem, Mark. You take care. And again, you do not have a boring station. You keep doing what you do. And if they don't like it, to hell with them. I like it just fine. I know my one opinion doesn't matter all that much in the grand scheme of things, but let's be honest. If somebody wanted to come in and do this exact same thing on their station somewhere else, people would eventually show up for it. I don't do this for a bunch of viewers all at once. I do this because we're going to hang out and have a good time. I do the long show on Friday because it's the weekend. People get off work, they want to go hang out and do some stuff. Works out really well, doesn't it? Right, Jose, that's true. Oh, not a problem, Mark. You take care. Really enjoyed having you here. Always do. Oh yeah, so Jose, the whole thing with Vegas is Vegas. I say that to say it like this. Every 5 years, you can go back to Vegas and it's a whole new place. Some of your long-standing traditional places that you like to go, they're gone. Hell, I haven't been since the Star Trek hotel was there. I drank their blue beer. It wasn't bad. I'm fairly certain it was all just about food color, though. Milky blue. They called it Romulan ale. Of course, it's not Romulan ale, but I had to have some. I even used to have a baseball jersey from there that said Klingon. I don't know what happened to it, don't ask. And I doubt that it would still fit me. That was well over 15 years ago. Went into the Hard Rock Cafe. Took the tour of all the guitars. Kept looking for one guitar that everybody said it was there. Couldn't find it. Everybody told me that there was a Dave Mustaine Megadeth signed guitar on the wall. So I went to every last possible one I could find. Could not find that guitar. This guy opened a door going back into a restricted area. There it was sitting on the wall. And I ran back there, took a picture right there beside it. Got thrown out. Had to walk back to my hotel. I was staying at the Grand. I'm going to tell you, walking from the Hard Rock to the Grand, just don't do it. Don't do it. Nope. Take you forever. It's not a fun walk. Well, Cedric, I'm sort of tailgating for Muletown. Sort of. If you're talking about tomorrow morning, I do not know for certain if I will be or not. It's realistically, it will all depend upon my lovely, lovely wife. Mostly because if my wife wants to wake up early in the morning and get our day started, then no, it's not going to happen. Because some of the things we need to do, those places will be open by the time I should be tailgating. So I won't be anywhere near home, and that means I won't be sitting here. But if my wife, Holly, y'all all know it's Holly. If Holly decides that she's had a hell of a week and doesn't feel like getting her ass up before the crack of noon, then it's a damn good probability that I'll be sitting out here going like, hey, you know what? Matches tribute smoke, and I'm going to tailgate for it. Am I trying to tell y'all that it's going to happen? No, not at all. That's why it's not on the Breyer report listed as a full-on regular tailgate. I'm thinking about having the Stumbo and the Nashville Mafia tailgate listed. Quite honestly, I do the tailgates more for just as a good spot to hang out. I know there are plenty of people that will say, hey, you know what? 15 minutes till the show, let me go watch a video or two on YouTube, and then they'll miss half the show because they'll fall down a rabbit hole and it'll be an hour and a half before they come out of it. I've done it. I know I've done it. So I said, you know what? Instead of watching videos, how about I make a live show? We'll just go live in front of some of these other shows and be like, hey, we're tailgating. We're just hanging out, having a good time. Now, originally, this was tailgating. Well, let's see. By now, it was 30 minutes in on Chad. I miss Chad. And YouTube completely doesn't let me know when Chad goes live, or I'm asleep. Could be that I'm asleep. I've woke up a few times just after Chad finished his live and was like, damn it. But Chad lives on the West Coast. That's 2 hours behind. So for him, he's just staying up late. Ish. Back when I was a teenager, I could stay up practically 3 days straight. No drugs needed. Didn't need coffee either. As long as there was a cute girl to chase, I was awake for it. Back in high school, there was always a cute girl to chase. I don't think I slept a wink. From the age of 14 to 18, I was just like, not my fault. Too many pretty girls, too little time. And no, I didn't chase them all because, damn it. I had no confidence in myself back then. Cedric, all hormone is the least of the problem. There was a lot of hormone, don't worry. Yes, there was a lot of hormone, but oh my God. Beautiful women down here. If I was to show y'all yearbook pictures, not that I have them, just that if I was to show you yearbook pictures, y'all would still be like, damn, she's kind of hot. Holy crap, she's kind of hot. Damn, look at that one. I'm going to tell you, most of them stayed pretty as hell. Now, a few have died off, and a few of them let themselves go. And I'm not going to sit there and name names on that one, but there was some damn good-looking women in my school. And no, I'm not talking teachers. There was a couple. Not that anything happened that way, but I mean, there was this one chemistry teacher that I was like, she's way too pretty to just be a chemistry teacher. You would think some frumpy guy in a lab coat. No. Damn good looking chemistry teacher. Damn it, I talk too much. Let it go out. It's okay, I can light it again though. I don't know who it is that's calling me, but there it is. Dallas cheerleaders? No. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them went on to be cheerleaders in various different professional teams. But we'll be honest, there's just as good as possibility that they didn't. But, I mean, it was all kind of girls. Look, you like girls with a nice looking butt? Tons of them. It's ridiculous. I'm not even a butt guy, and I can appreciate a nice looking ass, but damn it. There were a ton of them. I don't even have to think back too hard to start remembering 50 or 60 names. Not that I'm going to tell y'all. I don't talk about them other than in the general sense. You like girls with that top heavy look? Wow. Plenty. 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 Quite literally, I don't think I ever dated a girl that was below a D cup. No, that's not true. There were 2 or 3. Howdy, Robert. Great to see you, sir. How's the green beer flu doing for you? By the way, does green beer wash out well, or did you have to completely throw your outfit away after that pretty girl spilt green beer on you? Oh. What's your wife's name again? Because I know it was her. Oh. And if you liked girls that had the whole hourglass figure, full package, oh yeah, plenty of those. All right, there were only a few redheads. I remember every one of their names. lot of blonde, a lot of brunette, dark to black hair, yeah. Hellacious, crazy crushes on women that I never had a chance at. And then just telling the truth to these girls years later, I was told by a few of them, should have asked. You had a better chance than you thought. It's like, damn it. I had no faith in myself. Right here on the south side of Houston, Jose. Oh, okay. Yeah, green beer on the jeans, no big deal. It's just jeans. Jeans look good with a little bit of stain on them anyways. Well, my opinion. Trust me, if you saw the jeans I was wearing right now, you might think that they were dirty even though they're clean. But I'd wear these same jeans to go crawl through a boiler. Ain't nothing ever coming clean after crawling through some of the boilers I've been through. You're lucky if they're still blue. I mean, so Jose, I'll give you a for example. 15 miles from right here. Could have hung out with Beyonce. I mean, not sure if you've ever heard of her, but there's a lot of people out there on this planet that think she's hot. And while if she would have thrown herself at me back in the day, I probably would have said yes, because never pass up a good thing. But I didn't think she was like one of those 100%, oh my God, you have to just say that she's the hottest woman on the planet. I thought there were much prettier women out here in this area than her. But that's what I'm talking about. Freaking beautiful women out here, all over the place. And when I went to high school, I was surrounded by them. And because I had no faith in myself, I didn't talk to even a half of them. Years went by, things changed. I learned some things. And I decided, you know what, it wasn't worth hiding that shit no more. I was just like, yeah. I mean, Jose, I'm not saying she's not pretty. I'm not saying she wouldn't be called hot in most people's book. Because most people are going to be like, yeah, she's pretty damn good looking. But, I mean, how close can you say that you kind of lived in the same town as somebody that you can prove is that kind of wow? Without having to show pictures of back when they were in high school or something. I mean, you could just say, that's pretty much how close I live to Beyonce. Yeah, 15 miles. Is nothing. And quite honestly, it's closer than that. "15 miles puts me damn near all the way into downtown Houston, which is 23 to 26 miles from here. Now, yeah, look, if you put a pin where you live and you draw a 15-mile circle around your exact location, for the most part, you're going to be able to say, yeah, there's some good-looking women in that area. Because that's a big-ass area. But, you know, not like as if everybody knows that person. Longtime friend of someone named Lady Gaga went to my high school. It was her personal assistant. Died a few years back from some cancer or the other. Crazy thing is, cancer runs pretty high around here for some strange reason. Actually, not all that strange of a reason. Had a whole group of kids that got moved out of their homes. Kids, families, the whole 9 yards, because it was built on land that was guaranteed safe by a toxic waste dump. And it wasn't really all that safe. The ones that are still alive are still getting paychecks. Goes back to something we were talking about just the other day about how when toxic stuff flows into your groundwater, you can't really guarantee that your drinking water is all that safe. My whole town has some crazy issues. Just, it's there. Is what it is. No big deal. Yep, it's room temperature. Good thing I've been in other countries where room temperature at 60 to 70 degrees is perfectly normal for beer to be served at that. I'm betting we could have asked Welsh Piper what beer temperature is there, and he would have been like, well, room temperature. They don't put it in the fridge and cool it down. They just drink it. Okay, granted, room temperature, when the room that it's stored in never gets really above 60 something degrees, is not all that horrible. Woo, Rustica and Brown Irish Twist. Smoking strong. You're trying to replace Everett. Go ahead, Everett. Tell them what you're smoking. You know what? Hey, while we're thinking about doing that, let's just go ahead and do a. That didn't work. Let's just do a bowl call. If Willie was still here, we'd go. Wah! What are you smoking? What are you smoking it in? Again, I'm having a Romeo and Julieta Natural Churchill. Oh, and if you happened to see Briar Blues last night, you would know that a certain guy by the name of Dan got himself a Philip Rivera military mount church warden. Just for guessing correctly. Howdy, Scott. Great to see you, sir. Dark flake aromatic in a rat rays. Very nice. The haunted book shop in the Papa Bear Stubby Pot. Very nice. Quiet Nights in a 320. Always a good pipe. I love my 320. Raiders colors, no less. You doing all right today, Scott? I mean, it's always good to see you, brother. And Everett's cooking pasta right now. And if anybody hates on Everett for that, that just makes you an antepasta. It's an Italian joke. You'd understand it if you understand it. Scott, I understand. There's days where that's the best I could say about my knee. The knee's a bit better. Not great. It's never great. But better. The other day I ran about 20 yards. Actually ran for about 20 yards. And that was as far as I was doing it. Everett, I understand, brother. I understand completely. There's no reason to get all upset just because you've only had Haunted Bookshop to consume all day. No. Got to have a little energy to go with that Haunted Bookshop. We know. We know. Yeah. Scott, you would be surprised. I used to be able to just run. I did a few marathons. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't ever do well enough that somebody's going to see my name on some sort of timing sheet. But I could just pick up and do a marathon. Now, these people that train for it all the time, yeah, they blew me out the water. Sure, not a problem. But how many people do you know that could just smoke a cigar on the day before while kicking back, drinking a beer, acting like, you know, it's just every other day of the week? Nah, these people train, they eat just the right foods, they do all the right things. Yeah, they can beat me. Back then. Now they could beat me just by looking at me sideways. But I used to be able to run and bike and swim. Did a couple of the Ironman things. Just because I was physically fit enough to do it. Oh yeah, Scott, believe me, Father Time is batting 1,000. Will get to all of us eventually, all in his own good time. When I was a kid, there was no such thing as a tree I could not climb. Now I look at some of these trees and go, yeah, no. Nah. No. Not gonna happen. I used to go river rafting. I'm not doing that crap no more. Hell no. Mountain climbing. Not doing that shit ever again either. Now, don't get me wrong. Did I say I was climbing Mount Everest? No. But I've gotten up into some permanent snow cap areas. Sometimes it was just because it was there. Gotta be done. But I always lived outdoors and doing stuff. Always on the go. Nowadays, there's whole generations that their on the go is going to the PlayStation or the Xbox. When I was a kid, if I was literally outside for no other reason, it was to mow lawns to make money or trim trees to make money. And I asked people that knew more about it than I did. So I learned a lot. Consequently, I was doing a pretty damn good job. Scott, I understand how that works. Last time I went for a walk, it was 6 miles one way. I didn't even leave the bed the next day. That was just a walk. And it took me way longer than it should have. But with the bad knee, it doesn't react too well to the stress of walking for miles and miles on end. And no, I'm not blaming anybody but myself on that. It was my fault. I'm the one that ruined on that motorcycle ride. I'm the one that didn't just cut everybody off to get to my exit. I'm the one that went to the U-turn one exit up and hit the sand pile that was in that U-turn lane that wouldn't let the bike stop, so it ended up sliding into a curb and shattering a kneecap. That pretty much ended all the times where I could actually do everything I wanted to do. Jose, I could probably do 2 miles. But that's about as far as I'd be pushing it. Of course, Houston's so flat, there's no real trails or anything. It's just flat. Howdy, Mark. Great to see you, sir. Look at there. We lost one Mark and gained a different one. Welsh Piper 62 was here. Y'all are both named Mark. I'm sure you already knew that. How's it going today, Mark? Hopefully all is well. And in case y'all are not following Mark, which you really should, he's been having to rebuild his channel after YouTube screwed him over pretty good. My cat wants in just a second. I have a feeling that the last time he got mad with me was the same time he bitch slapped me, but that was back on one of those days when I was like, yeah, you can wait outside. But I do other things around the house that I guess I probably put in about 2 miles worth of steps. I just don't do it all at the same time. I mean, I'll be out here in the yard doing yard work and this, that, the other, and I'm still doing things. Howdy, Brian. Great to see you, sir. By the way, all of y'all, if you don't know Brian, he's right there. Beans 316. Beans, are you going to be going to Muletown? I even mentioned you just yesterday when I was saying, if you see Beans, you'll know it's Beans, because you'll keep looking up and keep looking up and keep looking up and keep looking up, and then, yeah, you kind of notice that there's one guy who's standing head and sometimes head and shoulders pretty much above everybody else. That's when you know you found Brian. Well, Scott will be praying for you that you do get to those harder trails, and soon, and that they don't seem to be any issue for you. Oh, and for anybody who is watching a certain Levon Asekian giveaway done by Nish and Briar Blues, if you're thinking that the name Beans 316 sounds familiar, that's because it does. Nish gave away a gift certificate for at least a pipe from Beans. By the way, Brian, yes, I've watched pretty much all of your videos, various different times. I don't comment a lot on everybody else's videos. Sometimes I do, but I try to make joking comments, mostly because it's just fun. That's what tailgating's about, just hanging out with y'all, the YTPC, and spending some time with y'all, and then being able to say, yeah, it was great, and the next show is coming on. By the way, Matt aka Glum Chum Piper, will be coming on here in about 30 minutes if he shows for his regular time. Now, this is the first time he's been back since some family issues that he and Doug had. Yes, that's Doug's son, in case y'all are worried. Well, stepson? Yeah, because it's Miss Lee's son. Sorry, reading the, oh, yeah, the Charter Oak. I love the Charter Oak. The Cohiba, Connecticut's pretty damn good. The Vintage 1992, I like those. H. Upman Churchill 1844 Reserves, those are good, definitely. And, well, I've never had a problem with Partagas. Yeah, beans, believe me, I don't always have enough time to leave a comment on everybody's video. Sometimes I'm quite literally listening to it with earbuds in while I'm doing other stuff around the house, and I'm just like, well, I would have had a comment, but I'm doing stuff. By the way, everybody, if y'all are into HH blends or H&H blends, you should possibly be trying to read The Blob, because I do believe I sent Phil an email that might interest you. There's some 3-year aged H&H blends that have just been released. And you might want to know about them. You might not. But all the H&H blends that I've had have been really, really good. So some 3-year aged Mark, it might not be on the Blob right now because I sent him that email today. And I'm fairly certain that it's through tobaccopipes.com. Not for certain what the prices are. Don't get me to try and quote you prices, because I don't know. But if you liked the H&H blends that I've had, or you like the H&H blends you've had, you might be able to find yourself some already 3-year aged. And if that sounds of interest to you, yeah, you might want to read The Blob, because I'm fairly certain Phil's going to put it in there. He told me he was going to. Supposedly the email for this went out on the 15th, but I didn't get it until today, so what am I supposed to tell you? They emailed it to me late. They were afraid I'd buy it all up, not realizing that I'm broke. Okay, yeah. Dropping $1,000 on a cat that I didn't even want kind of will do that to you. What you thought you had for spending money suddenly turns into it's not even there anymore. Oh, good. There's a squirrel watching my cat. It's about to get noisy. Oh, they're doing a 3-pack for $37.99. I'm not even sure if that's a good price or not, but oh, very nice, Mark. So Everett said he's stocking up on Old Joe Krantz and Haunted Bookshop. I know, you smoke more than just that. What are you doing, Trumpadome? Yes, the cat's name is Trump. Yes, I let him in this door earlier. Yes, he went back out the back door and came back around so that I could let him in again. Instead of going to the back door, which is open, he wants to come around here just to mess with me. Well, hi, Back. We normally call you Martin, but if you want to be known as Back, we'll do that for you. Wait, come on. Haunted Bookshop is identical to Largo Regular? You're certain? Maybe we should let a certain long-bearded fellow out in San Jose know. I didn't know that, Mark. So, Cedric, you're saying that's the HH blends that are available at Tobacco Pipes is the Balkan blend, the Burley Flake, and the Pure Virginia? I've had the Pure Virginia, and it was exceptionally good. Oh, Martin, don't worry. Just hook up the Dell. We are certain that we will see malfunctions. Oh, so that's the 3-pack. Okay, the Balkan blend, the Burley Flake, and the Pure Virginia. Not a problem, Martin. Don't worry. I'll be there. And there's only 39 in stock. So if y'all are figuring that the price is pretty good, y'all might want to move on it before it comes out in the blob tomorrow, because they'll all be gone. By the way, the blob is no longer an everyday thing. It is a 5-day a week plus 1 on the weekend. I'm not surprised at that. It's very difficult to run a blog and still have new content on a regular daily basis. An LRF. Left, right, face plant. Walkabout edition. This could get exciting. One face plant or two. We're going with how many times Martin will fall face first while walking about trying to run a live stream with a camera on a gimbal. Two is probably getting up there at. Oh, Let Her Rip Friday. That's right. Come on, Martin. You know I'm just playing with you. Approximately 18 minutes till Glum Chum. In case any of y'all need to finish up a pipe or get a pipe ready or grab a quick bite to eat. Whatever, you can do it now or you can do it when Glum Chum comes on. I'm not forcing anybody. I am having a hard time with the humidity these days keeping a cigar lit. Again, I normally use a cigar during these because they're easier to keep lit and keep talking. But I'm pretty close to the end of it anyways. Luckily, like I said, 18 minutes, hey, no big deal. It's a good smoke for what it's supposed to be, which is hanging out with y'all. Martin, sometimes they do. If you ever go to an event where they are hand rolling cigars and you're getting one fresh off the table, it is best to let those age for about 6 months in your humidor. You can call it drying time if you want to. Mark, I had a hard time yesterday and it was all humidity, and I know it was humidity because it was steadily coating my screen. Little mist droplets. It's just a horrible day to be outside, but yeah, it's only place I have where I can smoke. Yeah, Cedric, yeah, dropping a cigar in the toilet is the worst thing I think anybody has ever done to a cigar. Everett, that 673, you know, it's an excellent size and shape of a Savinelli, so I'm surprised you don't have a few more than you already do. Not a problem, Mark. You know, you're not going to hurt my feelings or harass me too much. It's not possible. Well, Cedric, I think if you dropped a cigar in the toilet, you just go ahead and flush it. Hopefully that brown log will go down with all the rest of the brown logs. Oh yeah, Martin, that's the Groovy Blue. Will not smoke those. Not even with ultra hot chocolate or the toe of Satan. By the way, for any of y'all who are interested, the challenge is kind of going out there now. During Pipe Week, I plan on doing a live trying to do the toe of Satan. See if I can make 5 minutes. I am just pretty much sure I'm going to hurt. And Cedric, yeah, the Groovy Blue will ghost anything. And if you do have Groovy Blues, don't store them with any other cigar at all. Even your aromatics. That stuff could literally be used in a nastiest blue house you've ever imagined going into, and you wouldn't smell anything but Groovy Blue. It is a powerful scent. It'll cover up skunk. Well, that's 4 of the 673. Yeah, you definitely need at least one more. The Trevi 673, rusticated in black and silver. Of course, that's what my 320 is. Oh yeah, the coffee flavored ones, you could store those in your humidor with the cellophane on, but quite honestly, Martin, I would definitely get a separate humidor, one for aromatics and one for regular. Otherwise, you're going to start noticing that everything's starting to taste a bit like coffee. Because, well, the Tabacus Specials and the Nub Nuances, they're coffee infused, so they taste pretty good. But when you pull out a Cuban and it tastes like coffee, you're going to be like, damn it, I shouldn't have done that. Cedric, there are several bad cigars out there as far as flavors go. The other one that I really, really hate, and the only one that I'm going to mention from Drew Estates that I really hate, is one called Van Reef, which the first inch tastes like pure sugar, and then the other 5 inches that you can smoke of it are going to taste like nothing more than cloves. And you won't taste anything but cloves for the rest of the day. Well, good man, Martin. I'm pretty certain that I didn't want you to screw up the... I'm going to say premium cigars. But let's call it like it is. There's regular cigars, and then there are infused cigars. And you got to store the infused ones separately. That's really the only rule about putting cigars in a humidor. And quite honestly, I just buy a infused cigar when I want one and then smoke it. I don't ever put it in with the humidor. If I'm buying several, I'll keep it in a Ziploc bag with a Boveda pack until it's done, and then I'll transfer the Boveda pack if it doesn't smell. And yes, Boveda packs can pick up scents. So if you've been using one for a set of infused cigars, don't put it in there with your other cigars, because it can transfer those scents. And it might ruin the flavor of your cigars that are just straight tobacco. And no, I'm not trying to convince y'all one way or the other about any kind of cigars. Got a little piece of a tobacco leaf. Happens. Martin, there's a lot of people that don't know that the cellophane is porous and allows the transfer of heat and moisture. So there's a lot of people that will immediately strip the cellophane off there. Well, Mark, I'm not sure. Sometimes YouTube gets a little crazy about what they will allow and won't allow. Just the other day, I don't know what, maybe a month ago now, Martin was having a hard time getting anything that said honk honk to go through. Cedric, that's correct. Cellophane will let the cigar age more slowly, but it will still allow your cigars to age. It slows down the transfer of air, but it is still porous. Air will still pass through the cellophane. It just does it at a much slower pace. I'm going to set that cigar down. We'll just continue out to the end here. Every once in a while you will get a little bit of stray tobacco from a cigar wrapper. It'll happen. It will happen. I mean, it's no big deal. You might end up with a little more flavor, and you might end up with a little bit less, but when it happens, you just whatever. However it works for you. Oh. It's been a long day for me. Up at 4:45 this morning, heard both alarms go off. Turn them off when they show up, if I'm already awake. I get up very early. Well, it's a 7-day-a-week thing for me. I just... Keeping me pretty? Impossible task there, Mark. Let's see. This is 2 months and 18 days worth of growing a beard. That's all that's grown in 2 months. That is not even a finger worth of beard. Okay, I did trim a little bit off just as it was looking scraggly. I just evened it up, but Really, Cat? You're coming around for a 4th time today? Cat's got a one-track mind. Out the back door, in the front. And he keeps hunting these squirrels, and the squirrels just climb the trees, and there's no way he can get to them. Now, that's a pretty good crowd to be in when you're enjoying a cigar. Hey, look at there. I believe Glum Chum just went live. Hopefully it was this email here where it says for Donald W. Hughes at gmail.com. Woo, there we go. Sounds good, Everett. We'll be looking forward to seeing if you can compete with Virginia Piper. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been so much fun having y'all here. Glum Chum just went live, and, well, this is a tailgate. This is what we do. So, we're going to jump over there to his channel. I thank y'all all for being here. Y'all have made it so much fun for me. Hopefully, it was fun for you as well. As per always, remember, take care of yourselves and each other. Do the best you can with that. And as always, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care, and I will see y'all just as soon as I can over at Matt's. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.